Welcome back, everybody, to the Metz
and a Monk Radical Recovery Radio.
Oh, that is so gold, and I think you know that. That's why you're still paying attention to what's falling out of our mouths, because you can't see us, but the real deal, the truest of the true, the grand high exalted, never faulted, that's probably something I took from rap back when I was like 18 years old. Thank you, Monk. I love the support. But what we're talking about today is we got a great friend that stopped by, known this guy for about 6 months, and you know, I like his passion about recovery. That's something that I feel very strongly about. He's not one of these guys that was like, oh man, I don't know about that. Like, he dove in the pool of recovery. And I'm going to introduce my man, Jamie. Jamie, say hey to the world.
What's going on, good people?
Yo, doesn't that sound so smooth, too? Oh, man, that was smooth. Can you say it one more time?
What's going on, good people?
That's right. He wants to know what's good with your life because there's some good things happening in his. So one of the questions that I already had bookmarked in my brain, which is something that is just a beautiful thing for me to have, is what is the difference between sobriety and recovery for you, Jamie?
Yeah, sobriety is just basically staying away from a drink or a drug. It's pretty simple. You know, the idea of it is simple. The actual doing it, that's the hard part. So a lot of people can be sober, you know, for a little while, but until you get into recovery, that's where your life becomes, you know, exponentially great, depending on how you want to make it. You know, people can be sober and that, you know, be okay. But for us, you know, for people that are really in recovery, it's not about being okay. It's about being great. It's about being content in every moment in your life, no matter what you're doing. It's all about a perspective change. So you come in and, you know, things aren't going too great. You know, I know for me, you know, I was on death's door. I was ready to take my own life. You know, I attempted to, and, you know, one benefit of overusing alcohol, sometimes you fall asleep before you're able to do so. So, you know, that saved my life. And part of recovery is knowing that was the greatest day of my life. That was the turning point, and I am so grateful that happened to me. If you had asked me that when I first got sober, I would have been like, oh, I got in trouble, got a DUI, oh, it's such bullshit, you know. They fucked me over, and now I'm so thankful because it could have been worse. I could have been dead. I mean, a million things could have happened, and that's just that perspective shift. That's an example of what recovery does for somebody. It's not about the sobriety. The physical sobriety is important. That's a big part of recovery too. But it's about realizing that there's more to life than drugs and alcohol, and it's about becoming the person that you're supposed to be and that you were born to be and growing into that person. And the best part about recovery is that it never stops. You know, sometimes for 3 months you'll be thinking the same thing, you know, the same revelation that you've been working on, but all of a sudden something happens. You know, it happened to me. I was on the treadmill, and all of a sudden I go, wait a second, all these thoughts I've been having about people, they don't like me, things like that, they're all a lie in your head. You don't know what other people think about you. You're not in their brain. And just sometimes just a revelation like that will happen. And if you're in recovery, you're able to grow from those points. And you never know when it's going to happen. And that's the best part about it.
So some people go to meetings and go to meetings and go to meetings and maybe never hit that point, that enlightenment point. What do you guys call it, dry drunk, or where, you know, you're sober, but are you in recovery? Are you practicing on every part of your life other than just staying off the substance, but taking the lessons and working your program, your commitment?
I'm going to double down on this too, because I've witnessed just over time that a lot of people have wiped their ass with miracles. It is an absolute miracle to be able to look at something differently, to understand something differently, and then to allow it the time to set in and soak in so that it's an actual game changer. It's not just some interesting fun fact you learned about yourself. As far as recovery goes and what you've been learning about yourself, Jamie, and obviously I gave you a compliment at the start about being passionate about things. You probably already always had that, but what would you say to that question as far as, you know, what are you discovering about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of touched on it a little while ago, but something as simple as that, you know, everything you knew to be true when you're out there, you know, drinking and drugging, this person, you know, they want to make you upset, you know, this person's lying to you, all those things you knew to be true. I believed I was a good person. I really did. And at the end of the day, I was lying every second. My whole life was a lie. I pretended to be happy. That's the biggest lie of all. And, that's no way to live. And you realize that, being dishonest, being all those things is not who you truly are.
One thing that I've witnessed for you is that you have taken the time to sit on the mat and get quiet. You have taken the time to participate in yoga and practice with yoga. I mean, those are instrumental things that a lot of people might have a lot of unconscious bias against, or, just really don't see the value in it. But to see you set aside the time and continue to practice, man, has been something that's been really inspiring for me to watch.
You get in active use taking risks. You either planned them or they happened. Just all that crazy stuff that could be signal the end of a life. And when you in recovery, Jamie, you took risks. You took risks to try meditation, which you'd not really done. You took risks to jump into yoga. You've taken risks to be committed to a full program of recovery. And those are the kind of risks that are calculated and work.
Yeah, I mean, if you had asked me 5-6 months ago if I would ever practice yoga and meditation on a daily basis, I would have literally laughed in your face. I mean, that's just not something that some big, tough football player from high school and college does. You don't practice meditation. You don't practice yoga. You go out and you have beers with the boys or something like that. And that's just changed. And the practice of meditation and yoga, I cannot say enough good things about it. Especially meditation, where something as simple as I can be sitting in an Apple store for an hour, and because I practiced this meditation for 5 or 6 months, I'll sit there for an hour and people around me will be complaining, things like that, and I'm just sitting there content because I've put the practice in, I put the time in. But, as much as good things as I can say about those things, it's not just the meditation and yoga itself that makes a difference. It's making a commitment to something that you don't want to do. It's making a commitment to change something. So, yoga and meditation, like I said, I can't say enough great things, but the fact that I was, being in recovery, the difference between sobriety and recovery, you're going to keep doing those same things that you're doing over and over again. You're not going to do the yogas. You're not going to do the meditation. When you switch over and you make a commitment to recovery, you do things that you know are beneficial for you and those around you, even if at first you don't want to do them, and then you find and grow, and it's all about becoming the person you want to be. So you find, and sometimes, if I didn't like yoga, I probably wouldn't still do it, but me stepping in and doing something I didn't want to do gave me the opportunity to, grow and find something that I love that is now going to be a part of my daily life for probably the rest of my years.
Such a huge fan of the fact that you don't shoot for middle of the road when it comes to recovery. I mean, it's the same thing with drinking and drugging. It's like, why shoot for middle of the road? Like, what's that all about? So to see someone just fully invest in themselves, and it fills my heart with a lot of gratitude. I'm very, very thankful that you're a part of my daily life. That's all I have. I'll leave it over to these two.
I can speak from experience with Jamie. When I first met Jamie, I just thought he was another pretty boy with a problem, and realized that when he started to reach out, came to meditation, and just started coming again. And then he started setting up his own little meditation with some of his boys, and it just works solid. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to watch you in recovery. It's been a real pleasure, and I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed the chirping that has gone on between two guys. It works out well. Recovery, radical, recovery radio.
Jamie, take us out with one last piece.
I'll take us out. First of all, one thing I never thought I'd experience in my life is a llama, not the animal, but a llama calling me pretty. So that's a start to things that you never think.
That was such a verbal punch, man. That was such a verbal punch.
It's something you never think you're going to see. But he did bring up a good point, and I'm going to try not to go off because, goddamn, I do fucking love recovery. I don't know about the language thing. I don't know much about what's going on, but
we just lost all our followers in Kansas.
Whoops. So I just let it rip. But yeah, it's that brotherhood, that chirping, that having fun amongst each other, because when you're out there drinking and drugging, you have the facade of brotherhood, camaraderie, and loving those around you. It's all a facade, but the drugs and alcohol make you feel like it's real. And then you get into recovery, and that's such an important aspect of this, is finding that brotherhood and camaraderie amongst people that are sober, because what would be the point of being sober if you can't sober and in recovery, not just sober? But in recovery, if you can't enjoy it with other people around you, it's all about something greater than yourself. And that's why I just get so passionate about it, and I love it. And, I can't say enough good things about this process. And I hope one person listening to this can have this feeling that I think the three of us have experienced. And with that, that's it. Thanks for having me.
Radical Recovery Radio.
Get to know.